they're actually discussing getting a wheelchair for their mother. I was 215 pounds. Um, and that was not an acceptable answer. I was rattled over that phone call and I stewed on that for about 2 weeks.
Hey, so today we have Warrior Babe Tina with us. And Tina's journey started with a simple goal in mind, was to lose weight. But along the way, she gained so much more than that. She went from struggling with mobility and needing a cane to hiking mountain trails and feeling strong and shaping her body in ways that she never thought was possible. And with the right guidance and the right training and the right support, she didn't just lose weight, she completely transformed her life. And today we're going to dive into her story, and she's here to tell it all. Welcome, Tina.
Hi, glad to be here.
Me too. I'm excited for you to share your story, even with us just talking a little bit beforehand. It's exciting things that we're going to dive into. With the way I like to start this off is just you sharing for the listeners where you are in the world, where you're located. You can even do what you just showed me because I just learned something new, everyone. Um, and what do you do for work, and how old are you?
Well, I live in Michigan, and as most people know, this is a mitten, just like the shape of Michigan, and I live over on the knuckle side, the pinky knuckle side of Michigan. And we've got about 2 feet of snow out there right now, and a little more coming, it looks like. I'm 59 years old, going to be 60 in May. Very proud that I've done so well with all of this. And what was the other thing you wanted to know?
And what do you do for work?
Oh, I work part time at the library in Cadillac, and
Oh, very nice.
it's a wonderful, wonderful place to work. All those books around you and everything else. I always have books around.
That's
So
amazing. Well, I was waiting for you. I don't know if you heard me say this, which is a funny story that only you and I will understand, but I was reading instead of scrolling on my phone. I'm trying to do better. So that's so funny. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here again. Let's dive into where you first were, or what was like your situation. What was your health and your fitness like
ooh,
before you found Warrior Babe?
this is I don't know, I'd say roughly 3 years back. My husband and I want to go see my son in Colorado. I had been seeing a chiropractor every week. I've been seeing a massage therapist every week because I've been so much pain. I've been walking with a cane. And to go see my son, I heard my son and my husband talking on the phone, and they're talking without me, saying, "Yeah, well, it's going to be really rough on mom because I wanted to show you some trails. Maybe we can find her an easy one. I know we could get her a wheelchair. Some of them are real wheelchair friendly. They're actually discussing getting a wheelchair for their mother." I was 215 pounds. Um, and that was not an acceptable answer. I was rattled over that phone call and I stewed on that for about 2 weeks. I talked to the chiropractor, I talked to the massage therapist. I groused. And they both mentioned the same coach, and it was a gentleman who's in Cadillac. And I worked with him for about 2 years. And he taught me a lot about using the equipment and how to own the form and get the strength and all that stuff, but there was a lot lacking, and that was the nutrition side of that.
Mhm.
So what I turned around and did is I started asking. I couldn't find anybody around town. They kept saying, go to a nutritionist. I tried a couple of nutritionists, and they tell me to get 1,200 calories, cut out the carbs, no salt. I'm like, okay, no, that doesn't sound right. So I started fishing around online. I kept coming up with you guys popping up on the screen, Warrior Babes, Warrior Babes. And so I started asking around about Warrior Babes, and I started looking at like BBB and trying to get some accreditations. And I could not get anything negative about you because I always looked for the negative. And I couldn't get any negatives. So I was like, all right. I went to my husband. I says, I want you to know, I says, I do not have a paycheck. I'm taking on a payment, and it's an important payment. I said, so don't look at my paycheck. Don't ask for money. I am joining Warrior Babes, and I am going to get the rest of my body in shape. And he looked at me and goes, what? I says, don't ask. I says, I'm just doing it, and there is no option for you. This is for me. And he says, I know when to say no. I'm walking away. He says, enjoy. I says, just remember, you won't see a payment. I says, this is my game, my accomplishment. And so I joined y'all. And I've learned so much about nutrition and about more about the workouts and how, especially when it pertains to women. Women are just different and they need some things to be a little bit different. And I learned a lot more about how to adjust. So it's a little more fitting for our frames. And here I am, 140 pounds and owning it.
Oh man, we already got 5 minutes in and she already gave away her accomplishments. No, Tina, you're crushing it. You are so crushing it. I
I
want
just
to unpack. I love that. Bring all the excitement. You're doing such an incredible job for your journey and the way that you initially started with having that type of, that's gotta feel so uncomfortable hearing your husband and your child talk about how they're gonna carry mom, through a trail, which should seem for you, you'd just be like, I just want to be able to do that in that moment. It's gotta be very uncomfortable. And then to go in your husband and being like, hey, I'm doing this. And then to do it, to actually do the work, to put in the work and to where you are now, like you should be so excited. It's amazing. I want to pull back the story a little bit more so people can understand where like you were in that moment of being 215 pounds and like what did you feel like at that moment was like one of your biggest challenges that when it came to losing the weight and trying to keep it off.
Well, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. I was panicked. I was like, I am not going to Colorado in a wheelchair. I didn't know how. I just was panicked and I was mad and I was irritated and I was carrying all this weight and I have arthritis and I couldn't even close a fist. I
Mm.
could not make a full fist. It was partial all the time. And I was balling out my fists in anger. And I was like, I can't even make a fist. Something's got to change. And so that's when I started talking to the chiropractors and the massage therapist to start that first step in the journey. I lost 50 pounds before I joined you all.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had so much more to go because I ended up gaining it back because I didn't know the nutritional levels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the heartbreak over that. I'm sitting there going, what do I do now? Now I'm working out and I'm gaining weight. This is not right. It was really, really hard in that time. And
How, how much did you gain back? You said you lost to 50. How much did you
gained
gain back?
5 back.
How many?
25.
25 back.
Yep.
What happened there? Like, like, what, why? Why did you
I
gain
could
25 back?
do blame the holidays, but it was
Mm,
mostly because the food was abundant and I chose to keep picking up that fork. Really.
I appreciate that vulnerability and just saying it and shooting it straight.
Yeah.
You just said too, you said nutrition, you need to figure out the nutrition side of things. How did struggling with food choices make that process harder for you?
Well, I tried the 1200. I tried basically watercrests and apples and trying not to have any bread and carbs and I was starving. I was feeling lightheaded. I was having a lot of nausea. The digestive tract was going south. Um, Nothing was working in that respect, but I was still gaining the weight. I couldn't seem to just putting the little dime size on your plate like they tell you, just a little this, a little that, a little the other, and you'll be good. That wasn't working. I was still gaining the weight. And I was like, it's inching up still, and I don't know what to do about this. So I talked to the gentleman that I had been working with, and he was like, well, I did give you a book. I was like, I think I need a little bit more hands-on approach. And so I got frustrated. And that's when I started taking you all out.
Rightfully so. Here's a book. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
It's hard to do when you don't have the knowledge, the understanding, you didn't. A lot of people devote their education to this, years to it. You
Yeah,
are in a position where you wanted to figure this out and you want to figure it out fast so that you can feel better. And
absolutely.
you mentioned needing a cane and having those mobility struggles. Like, what did that feel like being physically limited?
Oh, it was hard to even do my job at work. I mean, it's just shelving books. but I found I couldn't even lift the books to shelve them. I had to put them on a cart and wheel that around. Now I can do a full length of books right to the fingertips, and I can carry that sucker out there, and I can do it no problem. One handed, man.
Yeah, you are a true warrior, babe. Let's go.
I I had trouble getting around the library without using the cart to help me because I couldn't push the cart and the cane at the same time.
Mhm.
It was just so hard. I was juggling the cane, trying to do my workload with it, and it just was not working well. The pain was always there. My feet were in agony. I will always have arthritis. I know that's hard to shake, but to be in that level of pain at my age, it just was not acceptable, and I just knew it had to be the weight that was doing it. You
Mhm.
know, they
At
say
what point
person stays in motion, so I had to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I just heard that too this morning. One of the team members said that her body is her body that's what is it saying? You just said it. Body that
Oh
stays in
yeah,
motion.
person in motion stays in motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, problem.
So you mentioned too, right there, the losing weight. Like you were just looking, like a goal of yours was just to like lose weight. When did you realize though that weight loss wasn't enough and that you wanted to build more strength and you wanted to be stronger and you wanted to shape your body? Like when did you realize that?
The feel of the equipment, just
Ah,
lifting it and just feeling it like course through you. You just was like, ooh, I want more of this. It was like a drug, man. I wanted heavy. How do I get where I can lift heavier? What can I do to build it up? Why can I only lift 5 pounds? Why can I only lift 3 pounds? I was like, how can I make it stronger? And he's going, whoa, whoa, whoa. You got to back off and step up slow, do more reps. You
yeah.
can't just jump into the next weight. Do more reps. When you get up to so many reps, 15, 20 reps, and it's not bothering you, it's time for you to pick up another set of weights. You'd say, and then own that, make that so it's just too easy, and then you pick up the next set of weights. And I'm addicted. I don't know if there's a clinic for this, but I'm addicted.
Lifters Anonymous.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh man. So before Warrior Babe, you were doing weights and you were lifting,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And before Warrior Babe, you were figuring out the nutrition side. How much food do you think that you were eating in a day?
I struggle with food, but food is not something I eat a lot of, but the foods that I did eat were the things. It was the carbs. You can't swim in carbs. They cannot be your priority.
It sounds amazing though, right? Like everybody wants to do that, but no, you gotta balance it out for sure.
Potatoes and gravy, yeah. But you still can have all that stuff. It's just that you got to learn to portion it better. That's all. And no, it's not the little dime size on the plate. You can actually eat. I eat more food than I can possibly put in a day. I don't know how I get it in by the end of the day. I struggle to eat enough. It's just I'm so full at the end of the day, and I'm sitting there going, I still got to eat the rest of that plate. And I think, wow, this beats the 1,200 calorie diet any day. I was eating and eating, and I'm going, Caitlin, what do I do? Now I've got my appetite back. I learned that my digestion was broken. That's why I wasn't hungry. That's why I couldn't keep anything in. And now my stomach actually does growl. After all this time, my stomach is now growling and telling me it's hungry.
Oh,
It
that's
needs food.
music. That's music to my ears. That's you gaining back, like your body is recognizing and has that cue again of being like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm hungry.
I didn't realize I even had a queue anymore. So
So, was there ever a moment before, like, you went to your husband, you were like, I'm doing this, right? Like, don't even ask, I'm doing it. But in the moments of hearing that conversation between your family and about, the trail and being 215 pounds, was there a moment where you ever doubted if you would ever feel strong and in control of your body? And
oh,
where like you like ever again, like, and how did you push through that? Because being in pain and being 215 pounds and thinking about needing a wheelchair, like I'm sure there's somebody else out there thinking about that and they want to be
I
like,
had
how did I push through?
I had a cheat sheet. I
Mm.
did myself dirty. I told everybody. I'm losing the weight. I had to save face. I told everybody this is happening. And so when I started to pull back and go, oh no, I could hear and see all the eyes going, oh, well, she got close. I was like, no, that's not acceptable. I told everybody, and I am not backing down because that's not me. I don't back down from a challenge. And if I had it to myself, I might be able to say, well, nobody knows. But when I told everybody around me, and even my boss asked me, he says, why are you telling everybody this? He says, what if you don't make it? I says, because I can't fail now. I
Mm.
have to save face and I will do this. And he was like, well, I'm rooting for you. So, and I have had so much support from the library staff. They've even
That's
given me projects to make me work harder.
oh.
I was the shifter of the books for months because nobody wants to do it because it's so much book you're moving because you have to reorganize as you get so many books out, so many books in. Those numbering sequences can get packed in some areas and expanded in others, and so it has to be shifted. And
Right.
so I was hauling hundreds of pounds of books every week. So they helped me own some of that weightlifting. So it was
Yeah.
amazing. Stepped in. They go, Tina wants to do some more lifting. Hey, Tina, you think you can handle? And I go, bring it on. Just give me a little more time on my sheet, and I'm there. So
Oh.
it was amazing. I had the community at my back by doing that. I
Yeah,
did my
like
30 and I ended up gaining friends, gaining more community. It was amazing.
you had the accountability system right behind you, pushing you along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I recommend everybody telling themselves.
That's a good way to start for sure. Way to kick yourself into gear there.
Yeah.
So let's jump. You said at the beginning that you kept seeing Warrior Babe. You kept seeing my face. You kept seeing the videos online. What made you finally decide to take the leap? Like, was there something that resonated with you that I said?
A lot of the other um, testimonies that y'all had,
Mm,
I sized it up. I compared them to other places. Um, a lot of a lot of these organizations have a lot of good intentions and stuff, but there's so many of us different personalities out there too. And I didn't want that masculine guy sitting there going, push it, one more, one more. I'm not that person. You know, and y'all had that variety of coaches. And so I was interviewed right at the beginning, and it was like, I know just the right person for you. And you signed me up with Caitlin. And I'm telling you, nailed it.
mm.
And that variety to know that if something's not working, could I try someone else, maybe a different approach, whatever. That's accessible through this program. And I think that that's amazing, that you have so much of that flexibility.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. When you first signed up and what were your like your first starts as you started the journey? Like you got assigned Caitlin and then Caitlin gave you, the protocol to follow, the nutrition or however you guys started off. We always say inside of WarriorBabe, we say meet the client where she's at.
Mm.
So what were your first thoughts and whatever protocol Caitlin gave you for the first like month to 2 months?
She was gentle at first.
Did that change? That sounds like that changed.
No, been a good egg, but as I learned, she was able to just put the numbers in there, and I was able to own them as we progressed. But at the beginning, when you join like a organization like Weight Watchers and stuff, you hear this food is a 1, this is a 3, this is a 2. Well, counting macros for me was just as vague as that was. No concept really. I pick up an apple and I go, it's an apple. What am I supposed to know about the nutritional value of this apple? I think it might have C, but how am I supposed to log this thing? I mean, we're talking basic lack of knowledge here.
Sure, yeah.
And slowly, she says, I tell you what, this first week, I just want you to eat. Just eat and log, just like you do every day. Just eat. I says, well, how much? Just eat like you normally eat. Eat till you're full, eat till you're comfortable, whatever it is. Make notes, we'll talk. And so I did. She started seeing my habits, and that's when she set me up with my first set of numbers, my macros. And it worked for a little bit, but no concept. I was juggling around, just cooking things and randomly putting stuff on my plate and going, okay, I need a better scale. So that was one of my first purchases.
What's the food
I mean,
scale?
but now I was measuring it by second week. It was like, well, it looks like you're struggling with this. And I tell you what, I struggled for probably the first 3 months, but that does not mean a sense of failure at all. Obviously,
Unpack that a little bit, because I appreciate you saying you struggled for the first 2 months, because a lot of women think that they have to get it right out of the gate. A lot of women think they have to have their macros done yesterday, like, and the understanding of it. So unpack what you meant by that. You didn't see it as a failure. You saw it, like, just share a little bit more about that.
yeah. I just kept saying, how do you do this? I don't know what to do. I was watching, we have our wonderful little chat group within our team, as it were. And they're sitting there, I can't figure out these macros. I don't know how much protein is in a piece of this. How am I supposed to measure? And she's explaining that you have all these menus. I started looking through the menus, and I started seeing these pre-programmed menus and how it logs out the calories and the carbs and the fats and all that other stuff right there with it. And I was like, oh, okay, I get that. I get it now. It started to click. And I was like, okay, so and then somebody said something about I'm just focusing only on the proteins because proteins are the most important push when you're trying to figure out your macros. It's if you can balance that out, a lot of the other stuff falls in place. And that's
Hmm.
what she had heard, and that's what she stated. And I was like, all right, I promise this week I am going to focus on the proteins. And dadgum, if there wasn't some truth to it, it's a soft edge, but the other stuff started to fall into place. Once I figured out how to balance the proteins, and the rest of it's just started to work its way. And it's not perfect. I'm not perfect every day or every week, and I don't want to be. Gotta have a little splurge or something, but I was still able to keep within my goals and within my direction that I wanted to go. And so I compliment myself on my failures as well as my successes because I've learned a lot from them.
Yeah, I love that. That was so beautiful the way you just said that. So the nutrition aspect was you figured it out along the way. You had some struggles, you had some
Yeah.
roadblocks, you had some how do I do this and some learning to do, and you didn't
And I
give up, you kept going.
do that, not read the book.
Yeah. And so and it worked out. Like it worked out over time by you just continuing to show up for yourself.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the workout side of things because you were coming in, you have arthritis. Like, how did Caitlin navigate building a workout plan for you?
Well, she's pointed out a few times that she has small hands also. So she helped me get an understanding how wraps help you anchor to a bar better, things like that. She reiterated what I had been taught about, when you can do so many reps, then you can ramp up. She reminded me of things that I had learned, but I had gotten so frustrated, kind of put on the back burner. Um, and she changed it up. It was really important that she changed it up. I keep looking to my rights because my workbench is actually in my living room during the winter time.
Yeah, I can see the dumbbells behind you there too.
I didn't know they were showing. I thought Michelle.
No, please show them. Perfect.
Yeah,
It's amazing that you can work out wherever.
and then my weight bench, is
Oh, that's amazing.
and so it sets as extra seating space for when we have company.
Yeah. No, that's sweet. I love that that's even being shown because a lot of women think too that they have to go to the gym in order to get results, and you're
Oh,
able to do it right here in your living room.
absolutely. There's this past month I was not able to get to the gym, so I asked her. I says, I can't bring my barbells in the house. It's just too much. She says, so could you take the barbells out for a month? I want to work inside. And she did. She accommodated my workouts, and I got a whole lot more dumbbell exercises and stretch bands for my abductors and adductors. And, I'm killing it in here.
Yeah, let's go. Yes, you are. You are
and,
killing it.
and ladies, I want to tell you one other thing is that when your weight bench is in your living room, you can be watching TV and just crowing a few extra for kicks. It's good stuff.
I love that. So, From your perspective, as you were looking around for, when Warrior Babe was showing up on Facebook, I'm sure many other things were too as well. What made Warrior Babe stand out from everything else that you were looking at or even have tried?
One word, ladies. A whole bunch of ladies, not men. I wanted that one-on-one interaction. I wanted to know because our bodies change, especially you go through menopause and stuff. Men don't have a menopause. Their men don't pause. They just keep on going, and we change.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that before. I love that. That's
We
great.
transition many times over through our lives. They don't. They're just like on the ski slope that just keeps going, man.
I'm gonna have to use that, Tina. I'm speaking at a conference next month about menopause, and I'm gonna have to say, "A worry babe Tina said men don't pause. Women change. Like we change." That's a great way of sharing
I
that.
do like the way the word transition better because we do. We flow from our childhood, and then we go into the teenage years. You got your change. Then you start having kids, and now women really change again, and that's a whole different thing than what the boys had to go through too. And then you stop having kids, and the body says no more kids. You go through another change. And this whole time, the guys only had to go through the teenage years. Something's wrong there. I think there's a balance system that's been broken, but we'll work on that.
The weight you have is hilarious. Uh, so funny.
Thank
Were
you.
you were you nervous about anything like so back to that, back to the women and the ladies, like is that from what was so important to you was because we were talking to menopause, we were talking to transitions, we were talking about dealing with women's bodies. Was that what was so important to you? Or was it more than that?
A lot of the ladies that I was listening to their or reading their testimonies and stuff, a lot of them were in going into their 60s. A couple were even going into their 70s. Women struggling in their 40s, and I was like, okay, these are my people. The 20-year-old somethings can teach us the stuff, but if they can help my peoples get fit, those are the people I want to talk to. I don't want a 20-year-old status for a 40, 50, 60-year-old person. It's kind of hard to meet up with that. It's like taking somebody who can barely walk to the door and you're next to somebody who's going, come on, let's go for that jog. You can't keep up. It's a different level you have to meet. There's
Totally.
differences as you age.
Totally.
And no, seeing those testimonies, I was like, sounds like they understand the older sect. They understand those changes. They understand those drifts that happen when our bodies change. And I wanted that understanding. That was important to me.
So me being 34 years old didn't pose any, does she know anything about menopause to you?
No, the young ones know all the stuff. I mean, they're the ones on my technology and everything else. They know the stuff. They
Yep.
just learn how to teach to any age group. And what I saw in those testimonies is that you guys had that figured out.
Yes. Amazing. So let's talk about your successes since joining Warrior Babe. Like where are you at now in your journey?
Oh, you know, I've been told not to lose any more weight by a plastic surgeon who told me I have way too much skin hanging on my body. I'm excited about that. It does mean I've given up. I'm just going to try and tighten up everything I can for the next year and a half before I can consider whether I want to do that next step.
How does that make you feel?
I'm so geeked, I have a hard time sitting still. I've already got plans made all over the place. My husband and I are going to Colorado, and we're not taking the park path this time. We're
That's
back
amazing.
and we're getting into the wilderness this time.
That just
Yeah.
gave me the chills. I'm gonna cry for you. That is incredible.
And I was like, "Are you sure you're ready?" He goes, "Honey, I've been waiting for you to be ready." Oh, I am so there.
Oh, my heart. That's gotta make you feel so thrilled and so ecstatic and just like and to where to like that's where you were from where you were to where you are now. Like to be able to, how does it feel to be able to go and do that?
freeing. I feel like I've been unshackled. I suddenly the whole world is available to me. I can do anything. I can go anywhere. I can do anything because my body is not going to stop me any longer.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know how to fight it now.
Whew. Tina. Oh man. That's incredible. That just warms my heart to know where you were and then you signed up for Warrior Babe and then you did the work and now where you are now and what you're able to go and do and what you're going to do. Not even what
One
you're
of my
able to do, you're
things is
going to.
I'm going to start learning to rock climb because I figure if I'm out in the wilderness and I have to jump on a cliff or something to outrun a critter, I want to know I can get back off that cliff.
Oh man.
Work do it all.
That's hilarious. So, I mean, these are some pretty incredible achievements that you've had. What is there any more that you're really proud of?
Oh, well, my husband and I will be married 35 years. I'm proud of the fact that we've been able to do so well all these years, you know. I'm proud of my three children. I'm proud of the accomplishments I've made, you know, raising them and now being able to show them once again the real resiliency of that change because they've seen me struggle all these years raising them and everything and knowing that I had these struggles and they helped accommodate me. And I look back on that and I think, man, I cheated them some ways. I could have had them out in nature. I could have had them out on the paths with us and I dropped that ball. So
Mm.
what we're doing is we're including them in several of our hikes that we have planned out. They're all taking their turns to spend time with mom and dad in the wilderness, and they want to learn a few things. So
I
I'm
am not
excited
prepared to be
to do it.
emotional on this.
So it's a proud moment that I've come around and I'm still teaching them.
What's so cool is that the resilience to what you just said there. You didn't have the tools or the resources, back when you were overweight and when you were feeling uncomfortable in those situations and circumstances, but you did something about it. And
Yeah,
you put your mind to change and to be willing to change and the resilience of following through on this program. Because not everybody follows through on the program. Like you though dove in and said, I'm gonna do this. And now you're here and then you get to still have the time to make those memories happen. Even
yeah.
if it didn't happen then, it's going to happen now.
I saved a pair of my 2X pants. Every so often when I get frustrated, I try them on and go, remember when? I
Yeah.
can do so much more now. I can
Yeah.
minister to more people now. I can go more places now. It's just so cool. I'm so excited about my new journey. I really am.
Oh, that's incredible. You mentioned that you love like seeing your biceps in the mirror. How does it feel to
Yes.
see that your body's changing in ways beyond just you losing weight?
I get flirted with a lot more.
No way.
I've been asked out by several people, and two of them are married, and I told them shame on them, and if I see their wife, I'm going to tell on them. And then they don't talk to me again.
uh,
So that keeps them at bay. You know, you're in the library, you get the same faces over and over again. So you put them in their place, and now the wife comes in and gets the books. So, there's things. Uh, but no, I can go grocery shop. I'm clothes shopping, I should say. I can try on clothes on that side of the store. Ooh, there's so much more fashion options when you're a certain size, and they don't hold back. You're not getting stripes and polka dots anymore. You can wear all the good stuff. I like that. I like the way you look good in your clothes. There's that confidence that comes with it. And it adds to that personality change that you glow outwards. And it's there's just so much more to that. I remember being that person, and I remember that heavy me and how there was always this level of depression and this I can't, I won't, I someday maybe, and that's all gone. I don't have that as an option anymore. There's no more can'ts, won'ts, and some days. I will, I can, and I'm doing. So
yes.
it's just come full circle, and so the whole world, everything has changed for me. The stairs are easier. Driving's easier. You don't have the steering wheel issue. It's a real thing. Uh, you know, when you were pregnant, you might have had that temporarily, but when you're heavy, it's there all the time. But yeah, walking through the deep snow, I can do that now. I
Wow.
there, and that's a workout, man. I tell you, when you're fit, it's a workout. Go for it. You
Yeah.
have to leg every 2 feet. Boom, you're getting your workout. I tell you.
Yeah. So you're now at 140 pounds. How long have you been with Worry Babe? You started around like 175, right? Because you lost 50 pounds
Yeah,
before.
about March 6th. Yeah, of last year, because my time is almost up with
Yeah.
you, and that's good. You've given me so many tools. I know that I can go out into this world and I can continue to own it. And to me,
Yes.
it's very important to know when I was done with this program, I could go out into this world and own it. And you have done that for me.
That's amazing. We did it together. Warrior Babe and you and Caitlin, we all did it together.
Yes, absolutely.
What would you tell somebody right now that is 59, 60 years old? And a lot of these women at that age feel like this is just the way of life now. Like what you were experiencing before, being overweight or having arthritis or being in pain, is just something that they have to learn to accept. And they become like a stranger in their body. What would you tell somebody that doesn't have to be that way? And that
And
how Warrior
and
Babe could impact their life?
and short end, I'll tell them to go into the can cupboard and pull out two of those large kidney bean cans and just start curling, man. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do is start. Just start. Start walking. Small walks. Walk around the house. If you walk around it maybe 20 times a day, walk around it 40 times a day until you're ready to go outside and go for a longer walk. It doesn't matter what you do so long as you're moving. It is not impossible for you to make the changes today. All you
Mhm.
have to do is allow yourself to get mobile. That's the most important first step. After that, you add the weights. You're already carrying more weight than you wanted to in the first place. Own it. Lift the legs a little higher. Make it your weight until you can afford that first set of 5 pound barbells or 10 pound barbells. You or dumbbells, I should say, and you just keep lifting them. Feel around. Don't know the routines. Don't know the stature. They're small, light weights. Feel around. See what muscle works are grouping. Look on YouTube if you have to see some form. But I tell you what, when you get some ideas, they're great. But when you get in a team with somebody like Warrior Babe, you've got an all encompassing system. You've got somebody helping you with the weights, telling you what muscle groups you're going to work with, telling you what this protein, this carbohydrate, and this fat does for your body, and that they're all important. And stop letting people tell you to cut something out. You can eat more and lose weight. You can still eat the chocolate cake. You just got to make room for it. It's all possible, one step at a time. And the first one is getting off the couch and just moving more.
Oh,
It's
I love
possible, and I would be glad to help anybody do that.
Let's go, Tina. That's awesome. What would you tell someone if they were, because your story is pretty cool and how you went to your husband, you're like, I'm just going to do this. Like, don't
Yeah.
ask me, I'm just going to do it. What would you say to somebody that is afraid to invest in themselves and maybe their husband, they have to go talk to their husband? And what advice would you give them about prioritizing their health and their future?
Well, hmm, you are the most important thing on this planet. You, as an individual person, when you look in the mirror, you are the most important person on this planet. When you're on a plane and the masks drop, what is the rule? You put the mask on yourself so you can help the next person. Because
Hmm.
what good are you if you try to put the mask on somebody else, don't make it, and you both pass out? You are the most important person, that person in the mirror. That person is the one you have to be accountable to. And so I'm going to go with my husband and I'm going to tell him, how important am I to you? Because I think I'm important enough to own my health, to own my strength, so that I can be here for you longer, with you longer, and make it great again. And my husband is so proud of where I am. We're honeymooning again. We're dating. He's hugging me randomly around the house. It's a beautiful
Oh,
thing. Uh,
Oh,
we're almost 35 years in marriage. In April, it'll be 35 years. And it's going strong. You know, there was just a lull in my life. But I'm telling you, any of you can reinvent this. And you do feel younger. You might still look old in the mirror, but you feel younger. You can do more as if you were younger. You've got the whole world at your fingertips. You just need to step up and make that first goal. It's not a
mm,
scary journey. It's just you just gotta own it, you know?
mm.
But once
So
you're
good.
good, it is so good.
So amazing, Tina. So amazing. You should be so proud of all your hard work that you put in and the accomplishments that you've had and just knowing and hearing where you've come from and everyone that's listening. Like this her story, Tina's story is proof that transformation isn't just about losing weight. It's about gaining strength, it's about gaining confidence, it's about a new way of living and she's put in the work. She's learned how to feel her body. She's learned now how to move through life with more energy and more freedom than ever before and she's able to go on these hikes now with her family and do things that she wasn't able to do before. And if anybody's listening and you guys are stuck and you're wondering if you can do this, the answer is yes, 100%. You just heard it too from Tina's story. So take that first step today, get off the couch, start moving, and then also check out Warrior Babe. Go to warriorbabe.com. We'd love to help you just as if we've helped, just like we've helped Tina and all the other warrior babes that you guys have listened to. But Tina, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your energy and your light to this conversation and just keep crushing it. You still have, you've gained so much knowledge to keep continuing on with your journey.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you took the time to interview me. This has been amazing. Thank you.